They always saw him as a shadow, never the light he carried. Jaden Carter was 15, smart, quiet, respectful. But in neighborhoods like this, that didn't matter. He had just finished tutoring his classmate Ethan, the kid whose dad wore a badge and called it justice. Jaden wasn't doing anything special that day, just walking. Headphones in, Gatorade in hand, thinking about his calculus test. But while he was solving equations in his mind, someone else was solving for fear. From behind her lace curtains, Becky Hollingsworth didn't see a tutor or a friend or a boy who lived 2 blocks away. She saw a threat, a hoodie, dark skin, silence. And that was enough. She picked up the phone and dialed 911. "He's looking at houses," she said. "He's acting suspicious." She didn't know his name. She didn't care. All she needed was a feeling and a system ready to believe her. Within minutes, 2 squad cars pulled up, sirens off, guns on hips. One officer jumped out and shouted, "Hands where I can see them!" Jaden froze, confused, shaking. "I'm just walking home," he said, but his voice didn't matter anymore. Another officer moved in, cuffs already out. That's when the second cop stepped closer and squinted. Something about the boy looked familiar. The voice, the eyes. Then it hit him. This wasn't some stranger. This was Jaden, his son's best friend. The same kid who helped Ethan pass math last semester. The same kid who laughed with them at the precinct barbecue just 3 months ago. Sergeant Mike Dunn, decorated officer, father. He looked at the boy, now trembling with his hands up, and for a moment, just a moment, he hesitated, because even he had been ready to cuff him. Jaden's voice cracked. "Sir, it's me, Jaden, from the cookout." Silence. Then Sergeant Dunn lowered the cuffs. The other officer turned. "You know this kid?" Sergeant Dunn didn't answer right away, but Jaden did. "I live 2 blocks away. I just helped Ethan study." Becky came outside, arms crossed. "Thank God you got here in time," she said. "He was acting suspicious, casing the neighborhood." Jaden's voice rose. "I was tying my shoe. I've lived here since I was 6. She flinched like he'd cursed her. "Watch your tone, young man." But this time, he didn't lower his voice, and Sergeant Dunn didn't defend her. He looked at his partner and said, "Stand down." He pulled out his phone, opened a photo. There they were, Jaden, Ethan, and Sergeant Dunn, smiling at the police barbecue. He showed it to his partner. "This kid? He's family." Jaden's hands were still up. Dunn stepped forward slowly and gently lowered them. "I'm sorry, son," he said, but Jaden stepped back. "You still almost cuffed me. You knew me, and you still hesitated." Dunn had no answer. Jaden pulled out his phone and hit record. "You've done this before," he said, turning to Becky. "You called the cops on Mr. Williams while he was gardening. And on Amara when she was jogging. This is who you are," Becky scoffed. "I just report things that feel off." Jaden's voice was steady now. "Yeah, black feels off to you." He turned the phone to her house, then to the officers, then back to himself. I'm not just surviving anymore. I'm done being quiet. That night, the video went viral. Jaden Speaks trended across the country. The news vans lined up outside Becky's house. The police department issued a public statement. But Jaden didn't want apologies. He wanted change. A civil rights attorney called his mother. School kids started posting their own stories. Walking while black wasn't just a hashtag anymore. It was a movement. Sergeant Dunn sat at his kitchen table in silence. His son, Ethan, stood in the doorway. "You almost arrested my best friend," he said. "I know," Dunn whispered, "but he still helped me pass that test." Jaden sat alone in his room, scrolling through thousands of messages. Some praised him, some threatened him, but one caught his eye. It was from Sergeant Dunn. "I'm sorry, I failed you, but I'm listening now. Tell me how I can help." Jaden didn't reply. He stared at the screen for a long time. Then he put his phone down and got up. The world was watching now, and the boy they once feared, he had become a mirror, forcing them to see who they really were. But just when things seemed to be turning, a black van appeared outside his school gym. Two men in suits watched from inside. No badges, no plates. One of them lifted a mic and spoke into his sleeve. "Target confirmed. Proceed to Phase 2. Jaden slowed as he walked past, eyes narrowing. He could feel it. Something bigger was coming. And this time, it wouldn't just be about a hoodie. Jaden Carter had gone viral, but that didn't mean he was safe. The internet knew his name. The media called him brave, but some called him dangerous. And in America, when a young black teen becomes a symbol, someone always wants to make that symbol disappear. It started with the van, black, unmarked, sitting across from the school parking lot. Jaden saw it once, then twice, then 3 days in a row. The men inside wore suits, sunglasses, and silence. Jaden told his mom. She brushed it off, said maybe it was just nerves. But nerves don't follow you to the basketball court. Nerves don't idle near your job at the tutoring center. Nerves don't step out and write down your license plate when you're leaving a friend's house. So Jaden did what he always did when the system wouldn't listen. He documented, he filmed, logged, recorded everything. Because if they were watching him, he was watching back. Then, one day, the van disappeared. And that's when things got worse. Sergeant Dunn showed up at Jaden's house looking like he hadn't slept in days. "There's something you need to know," he said. Jaden didn't want to let him in, but something in Dunn's face was different now. Not shame, fear. He pulled out a folder, slid it across the table. Inside were printed emails, redacted memos, surveillance reports. Jaden flipped through them. His own name, photos of him walking home, timestamps, GPS logs. Jaden looked up. "What is this?" Dunn spoke slowly. "That van? It's federal, not local, not even on our jurisdiction." Jaden's throat tightened. "Why are they watching me?" Dunn hesitated, then said the words no black teen should ever have to hear. "They think you're radicalizing kids." Jaden almost laughed. I'm teaching calculus. I'm helping Ethan pass pre-calc. But Dunn didn't smile. They don't care. They see the video, the protests, the shirts, the number Jaden speaks hashtag. You're a movement now. Jaden's mom stepped in. We need a lawyer. Dunn nodded. I have one on standby. She used to work civil rights cases. You'll need her. But Jaden was still stuck on one word. Radicalizing. Just for walking, just for speaking, just for surviving, and saying he deserved to. The next morning, Jaden found his locker vandalized. R.A.T. Fake victim. Get out. Students walked by without looking at him, except Ethan. He stood beside Jaden and began wiping off the marker. Jaden looked at him. You don't have to stand with me, man. Ethan didn't stop cleaning. You stood with me when I was failing math. This is the easy part. But what came next was anything but easy. The school issued a neutral statement. No mention of racism, no apology, just a note about tensions on campus. Jaden kept walking, kept showing up, but the pressure was building. Then the call came. The attorney Dunn recommended had been arrested, allegedly caught with falsified documents. Jaden knew what that meant. They weren't playing fair. They never had. So he made a decision. He called the only person who had once tried to silence him, and now had something to lose too. Becky Hollingsworth. She didn't answer at first, but when she did, Jaden said 5 words. I think they're using you. There was silence on the line, then the click of a door unlocking. When he walked into her house, everything felt off. Shades drawn, TV off. Becky sat at the kitchen table, pale. She looked scared. I thought they were protecting the neighborhood, she whispered. Jaden sat down slowly. They were using your fear as cover. She slid a USB drive across the table. I recorded one of them 2 nights ago. He was talking about control through chaos, said your name. Jaden stared at the drive. I need to see what's on it. Becky nodded. I'm sorry, she whispered. I didn't know I was part of something bigger. Jaden took the drive and left. But before he could even plug it into his laptop, his phone lit up. An anonymous number. One message. Turn back now. We don't miss twice. Jaden froze. He looked at the USB in his hand. And then he smiled, because it was too late to scare him back into silence. They didn't know who he was anymore. He wasn't just the boy who almost got cuffed on his way home. He wasn't just Ethan's friend. He was the voice of a generation. And this time, he had receipts. Jaden walked to the school library, plugged the USB into the public computer, and opened the file. His eyes widened. It wasn't just audio, it was video. One of the suited men, face visible, talking openly about psychological operations, social containment, and test programs run in minority communities. Jaden hit save, then backed it up 3 times. He looked around, heart pounding, palms sweating. The computer shut off. not by him. The lights flickered. Then, the fire alarm blared. Everyone ran. Jaden grabbed his bag and sprinted outside. But when he reached the sidewalk, the black van was back, engine running. And this time, the back door swung open. A voice inside. "Jaden, we need to talk."